What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Payne. Welcome back to another Magic Chronicle video. Alright guys, I've been playing the hell out of this game, not gonna lie to you. I've been enjoying it quite a bit, and I want to go over some do's and don'ts that will help you guys progress. Now, I want to just state the facts right now. I was free to play to start with. I decided I'm going to spend a little bit of money. I was enjoying the game a lot. It's a new developer that I've never seen before, so I decided, hey, why not spend a couple dollars to get myself some units that I wanted and test them out. So this is not a free-to-play account. I just want to make this absolutely clear to you guys. I am VIP 8, as a matter of fact. If we're looking at roughly spending, I think I've probably spent about 200 bucks, give or take. Remember, content creator spending considered a business expense. It's a write-off for me. Spend responsibly, please. But I do want to talk a little bit about some of the things this game does well, some of the things this game does poorly, and things that you want to do along the way, especially if you plan to be free to play. So first disclaimer is this. This game will throw a lot of ads to you to try to make you buy things. If you suffer with that, if you have a problem with that, if you can't resist the spending urge and you can't afford it, I highly recommend do not touch this game, okay? There are other options that are available to you. Pretty much every single thing you do will offer you a way to spend money. So you guys can see here, 3-day login. I spent a little bit of money. I spent up to 300 value. I got that, 300 gems. It's like $1.99, I believe. Daily top up, I did top up to 2,280. That's about 16 bucks worth of spending right there. And then total top up, you guys can see here, I've topped up to 17,940. Again, full transparency, right? I'm not here to pull punches here. When I tell you guys I'm free to play, I'm free to play. When I tell you guys I'm a spender, I'm a spender. In this game, I actually have been spending. Okay, so just so you guys are aware how this works. But if you honestly, if you do have a problem with spending, this game will get you real fast. Okay, and going to that point, as you play this game as a free to play player, they're going to throw you a couple different lines to help you through the game. The first line you're going to get thrown is going to be the option to buy Odin. Now, if you don't know anything about Odin and you're not into your history in any way, shape, or form, Odin is the one-eyed god, the ultimate god, the all-father in Norse mythology, right? So I love Norse mythology. I'm all about Vikings. I'm all about Thor and Ragnarok and all that jazz. Like, I love that. I studied it. I've been passionate about it my whole life. It to me is more important personally. Not more important. It's more interesting, I guess, than even Greek mythology, which is my second favorite, right? So if you are going to be playing this game, they're going to throw you a lot of options to use some characters that are not available to you, but will cost you an arm and a leg. So I'm going to show you guys an example of this. Space-Time Traveler, okay? So they give you this option here. Now you get to try out the character for a couple days. I think it's a week. Absolutely do this, by the way. Because at the time they introduce this character to you, he's going to be the most overpowered character you're going to have on your team. And if you don't know what Odin does, he's the ultimate tank, essentially, right? So he does insane amount of damage reduction. It's almost impossible to kill early on in the game. Like God's Dusk, you can see here when Odin casts ultimate skill for the first time, the sealed destructive axe in hand will completely unsealed and release. The hero will be immune to all damage for 12 seconds with a significant increase to strength that changes the power and effects of his skills. So he literally is impossible to kill in the beginning. Like, he's going to carry your team very, very early on. The caveat here, of course, is it's a limited time offer for you to, number one, buy him for 100 bucks, which I really, really don't recommend, guys, unless you're a major whale and you have that kind of spending. But I do absolutely recommend using him, okay? Second thing you're going to get another option here to use another character, which I do recommend also taking advantage of, and that's going to be the Fuma character, which is also a divine character right here. I'll show you. Give me one sec here. Where is he? Let me just go to my divine characters. Right here, okay? God of Ninja Fuma. Incredible DPS. Very powerful, really good at high defense, can actually be pretty tanky as well. You guys can see energy regen is by 20% and permanently gains 50% defense of the highest attack enemy. So does incredible DPS as well too. So can carry an entire team on his own. So highly recommend using him for the free trial as well. Those are the first things I'm going to recommend right away, okay? Next up, I'm going to talk about the best healers. Now, these recommended teams are great to use. I'm not going to lie. I've actually tried a few of them just to see how they are. They're actually really good. This recommended section, I highly do think you guys should take a look at. Okay, and it actually gives you a pretty good description of what each one of them do. But if we're going to break down all heroes, I want to talk about a few specific ones that really deserve some attention. So first off, we're going to go to the Empire. Julius. Julius Caesar, you get him very early on. I really, really, really recommend you guys push him as far as you can for DPS. He will do a number for you in terms of, first off, he's actually pretty tanky because he has so many immunities when he's doing his skills. And number two, I would really, really recommend putting him as a DPS in the back as well too. It's your choice how you want to play him, okay? He can be frontline because of his immunities. He is a little bit squishier because of that, but if you have better armor, you should be fine, okay? So highly recommend Julius Caesar on your team. Number two, Napoleon. Now I even got his outfit. I love Napoleon's kit. Again, Empire has so many good options, especially his ultimate, right? When he's casting his ultimate, permanently increases all allies' attack by 30% and haste by 30 and restores 200 attack HP to them, and this hero gains a shield as well. After that, the ultimate skill is cast again, launches a 3-hit attack. This ultimate is insane. You can put him in the front line or the back line, it doesn't matter. He is the ultimate buffing unit for me right at the moment, and also just gives you so much to work with. So highly recommend Napoleon. Easy to summon for as well too. Put him on your wish list and you'll get him. Now, those are the two big ones for me personally on the Empire list. The rest you can find elsewhere, and it's not the end of the world if you don't have them. Here is the best healer in my opinion in the game, and that's Pan, a nature fawn. He's on part of the beast team. Now remember, the more of the same team or the more of the same factions you put together, the better your faction stats will be because you get a bonus for that, right? But I make an exception for Pan because he's absolutely a beast, no pun intended, with healing, okay? So if you're looking for the best healer in the game, I think he is the best one here, especially when you can unlock his Nature Crown, which is his exclusive weapon. But let me talk about his skills just a little bit. Pan selects 2 allies in the field to pray and 2 enemies to curse. When the target is an ally, recovers their HP by 420% of his attack, giving priority to the ally with the lowest current HP. When the target is an enemy, reduces their attack by 30% for 12 seconds, giving priority to the enemy with the highest attack. Now, keeping in mind, he also has totems, okay? So those totems will drop on the floor. Enemies will actually attack those totems rather than your allies. So use the power of Secret Art to randomly summon a Holy Staff to the ally or enemy side. If it's an ally side, it does a damage reduction of 50% by the weakest ally and recovers their HP or nearby allies' HP by 120% of his attack. During this period, restores 2.5% of the max HP of the nearby ally per second. Healing staff is equal to 300% of Pan's attack. If it's on the enemy side, on the other hand, it taunts the target for 2 seconds, deals damage, an AoE damage, with the chance to stun nearby enemies. The sanctioned Holy Staff has equal HP to 700% of Pan's attack, and actually is fairly tanky. So, he plays multiple roles. If you've played World of Warcraft, you understand what a shaman is, right? This is pretty much a shaman. That's what you're getting out of this, right? Think of Thrall, but a fawn instead. So, extremely powerful healer. Highly recommend pushing Fawn or Fawn Pan if you have him on your main team, even if you're running a fairly high alliance team, okay? Going over now to another divine character that I got very lucky to summon on twice, as a matter of fact, and that is Seraphim. Seraphim, or Gabriel, in other words, is a unit that's pretty much in every idle game. It's one of those units that has a shield around herself. She always charges up to the front, lowers her max HP, and just can't be killed. Is immortal, essentially, until she's the last unit on the field, and does pretty heavy damage. The problem with these divine characters, of course, is the only way to dupe them is getting 2 dupes of each of these characters, and it's a lot harder to dupe them up further and further, making them sometimes not viable. So in her case, though, she's incredible. So here's what she does. Locking skill. Every time the hero loses 10% of max HP, heals the 2 weakest allies for 280% of her attack. When it casts for the first time, enter Divine Awakening status until the end of battle. In this status, each Gabriel normal attack is doubled and inflicts damage equal to 30% of the shield created by the ultimate that she does. Okay, and then also she does a Bloodlust in addition to the attack range being reduced to 250% yards. After that, when it casts again, converts 90% of the current HP into the same amount of a shield and gains a permanent 30% max HP shield non-stop. So essentially what happens is when she gets down to 0 HP, she goes into a shell like a little egg, and then she starts recovering HP and then reignites again and is summoned again. She doesn't die. She just continuously pops up and goes back into her role of main DPS and off healing. So extremely powerful character. If you're lucky enough to summon for her, I highly recommend using her as part of your team, and putting Fuma for free while you get him in that team as well too will give you guys a very powerful team to work with. Now, I haven't had a chance to work with the Sylvan clan. The Beast clan, I have a few things. I like using Circuit as well too as a DPS. Really powerful DPS, so that's a very good option as well too. Minotaur's not a great tank. I wouldn't really worry about that. Empire, I've had a lot of experience with Saroni here, who's also a very good shielder. So if you're looking for a good shielder to keep you alive, very powerful shielder, has a lot of good utility, and someone you want to bring if you are lacking survivability. So another Empire unit that will give you guys more love. So right now, I've noticed a couple things. The Empires are probably the most powerful non-divine and non-demon faction, right? So the Abyss Demons and the Domain Divine, or the Space-Time Travelers, for example. But if you're looking for the best alliance currently, to me, it's the Empire, with a good mix of the Beastskin tribe. Sylvan, I haven't had experience with, so if you have, please let me know who you guys like in this. I have been building up Achilles here, who's a Deer King, a DPS, as well as Hathaway with his Dream Hunter. Hathaways are usually pretty strong, those characters, and then a Naga as well too. Which again, if you ever played Everlegion, they're very similar units there. So I'm kind of accustomed to how they function. And then I'm also working on a couple heroes here on the Nether Legion, which I'm interested in. For example, Anubis is a really cool character who does a lot of damage reduction. You've got yourself Osiris here, who's a good tank. You've got yourself Erebus, who's a good DPS warrior. So there's a lot of good options. Haven't had a chance to test it, but those are the current units I'm using right now. And I think having the ability to use Odin for as long as you can, the Fuma Ninja Lord as long as you can, push content as much as possible. Because eventually, when they're gone, you're gonna hit a wall. And that's the thing I want to say to free-to-play players: you are gonna hit a wall fairly quickly. Okay, the game is going to require you to be patient. It's going to require you to use your AFK items. It's going to require you, especially on newer servers, to wait a couple days to unlock your mana and other forms of gameplay before you continue on. Okay. Always do your spaceship things. Every single event every time you have this, make sure you level it up. In terms of your Skylands, make sure you're doing all your space-time stuff every single time. Do not miss it. It's very important that you do push as much as you can. And don't miss out on bounties. Bounties are huge ways to get yourself a lot of rewards. So you should always be refreshing and trying to get the best bounty you can. But don't go into the section for diamonds. That's going to push you to waste your diamonds as a free-to-play. That's way too important to hold on to, okay? So there you guys have it. That's my suggestion. Also, when you are going into a summon section, please remember to do one thing, okay? Do me a favor. Put a wish list in place, okay? Don't go in there without a wish list. If you go in without a wish list, you're going to be summoning random units that you don't need. It takes a lot of dupes to dupe up characters. You don't want to waste that. So absolutely put effort into putting a proper wish list together. You can use this format if you want in terms of some of the characters I mentioned, and that might help you progress. All right, guys, it's Payne. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope this was a little bit insightful. These are just my opinions as a player who started off free to play and hit a major wall and was like, you know what? I'm enjoying this game, and I've been working with these units to push further. You could always take a look at some of the whales on your server to see who they're using, but remember, whales are not the best way to gauge if you're free to play because they're using overpowered units that you may not have access to, or they may just have a lucky with those units. They've duped them up super fast, and they're just way too much CP and gear for you to have any chance against them. So sometimes that's not the best way to look at it. But I think the units I mentioned are pretty damn good. I use them very far into free to play. I am on day 4, I think now. Or 3 maybe, I can't even remember. So 2 days of hard pushing as free to play, and then hit a major wall at stage 12 something. And then from there I was like, you know what, enjoying this game enough. I don't mind spending like $200, whatever the case may be. And again, content creator, taxes, business expense. Remember, it's completely different for me. All right, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.